What we have here. What we have here is the greatest drop ever dropped. Man. I'm telling you, man. Let us find the truth. If you have not subscribed to this king, stop what you're doing. Go search out, click on the link underneath, and subscribe. Deal with it. Get in the classroom or you will get left off. Check out his resources, virtual library. When this brother does a drop, which you will see, he is all on his own resource website in his own library he put together for you so that you have the records, the documentation, and many, many books that's hard to get are all available in PDF form to download on his virtual library at LetUsFindTheTruth.wix. Check it out. Click on the link. Subscribe. You can access his website right off of his YouTube page. And all that is for you. And what he's about to drop right here, he's about to light a fire. Light a fire on this 4th of July. Liar. He's going to light a fire on the 4th of July. A liar. And let you know the drop on your freedom. We got freedom. We got freedom. Who wants it? Who wants it? 5 for 10, 10 for 5, 10 for 15. We got freedom in the baggies. We got bottled freedom. We got diet freedom. We got freedom plus. Get you a freedom sandwich. How do you want it? What's the solution? Get out the cities. Who are you? Who are you? You are a prisoner. A prisoner. You've been invaded. The dumb Diversas. Lex Will dropped that. Got everybody doing dumb Diversas. And look what came out of it. He shits a diamond. It's a beautiful thing. What came out of dumb Diversas is your freedom. Because now with that documentation, you understand. Now you get it. You are a prisoner of war. And there's the documentation to prove it, that you are in perpetual servitude forever. You are a slave forever to the Pope. So what do you do? How do you act once you realize you're a prisoner of war? Well, first you need the documentation. So you go to Let Us Find the Truth. And you say, huh? So if I'm a prisoner of war, the minute I claim Negro, the minute I claim black or African American, I'm no longer claiming to be a prisoner of war. The minute I claim my indigenous aboriginal title, I am a prisoner of war, and I have certain rights even in this system written in. Can they tax an Indian? You pay mortgage, and I say, how can you pay mortgage as an Indian? Can they truly charge an Indian mortgage? An American Indian, an aboriginal copper-colored race? You see, the whole system crumbles when you stop claiming their property, right? Black is a property. They own black. They own African American. Do they own you? Or do they own your corporation? And how can you be a citizen of a corporation? And how can a corporation tax a corporation? But you know who got the drop? Let us find the truth. You are in the Drop Hall of Fame, my brother. Accept this drop award. Which is your Hall of Fame speech? Man, y'all go ahead and vibe to it. I'm going to fall back. And honestly, he teaches it so well that I can really just let it happen. So I'm just going to say, love to Let Us Find the Truth. I'll see you at the end of this thing, man. I'll see you at the end of this thing. Woo! Let's go.
All right. Welcome back, class. Today is a special day because it's the day before before the 4th of July. And it's a special day. This special day, I'm about to give everybody a terrific gift. Terrific gift. First off, any of you idiots that are fucking melanated, that are aboriginals, that was fucking firing off fireworks last night, plan on firing off fireworks tonight, and plan on doing that shit tomorrow. Go to the mirror, get a good look at yourself and smack yourself. Smack yourself real hard. Now, after you get done smacking yourself, come sit back down and let me get you educated a little bit. Matter of fact, let me get you educated.
Get the classroom. Let's go.
Because today, I have a wonderful treat. Wonderful treat. So, of course, we're going to start off by visiting the website. And then from visiting this website, we're going to come over to the public library. And when we click on the bing, public library, we're going to note we want important links. I'm sorry. Hit the important info links.
All right. What you just saw is his own virtual library. You can check on it yourself. You got the link. I put everything underneath here for shout. And he's doing this so you can have all these books and resources so that you don't have to take nobody's word for it. And it's all linking to everything that Heya is bringing out, the energy that we are reviving.
And scroll on down until you see this wonderful thing sitting in the list. And this wonderful thing is called the Diversas. The Diversas. I want you to click on that. And when you click on that, it's going to bring you to this page. So, I'm sure everybody's done this already, but of course, you know, hey, you can never get enough of this. This is awesome. So we're going to start off first by looking at the Diversas. Alright, so the Diversas is a papal bull issued on 18th of June, 1452 by Pope Nicholas whatever the hell that is. I don't keep up with Roman numerals. I'm not even fucking English. I'm Aboriginal. I don't speak that fucking shit. Afonso of Portugal to conquer. So he was given a papal bull to go conquer Saracens. Now, I don't know if anybody's done this for you guys, but I'll fucking do it because I don't give a shit.
Woo.
I don't care. Let me go open this up real quick.
Woo.
This would be a bonus to the little present I'm bringing today. It could be a little bonus. As soon as this thing load, you better load up. Come on now. Come on now. Everybody, come on. Get your game face.
Look. I know y'all probably be like, same thing with me. What, you know, y'all crazy. Why y'all got so much energy when y'all do this? We can't help it. He can't help it. When you see what he's about to drop, he's dropping freedom. He's giving you a freedom massage. Lay on the table and get your freedom massage. Let go.
Hey, song. We finna get deep in this shit. Okay. Barbary, 13th century, foreign lands, especially non-Christian lands. Oh, anything non-Christian. From Latin, Barbary, see barbarian, meaning Saracens living in coastal North Africa. Who is living in North Africa? I wonder who lives in North Africa. Do I need to do this again? Do I? No, let's continue reading. Is attested from 1590s via French, Old French, Barbary, from Arabic, Berber, ancient Arabic name of the inhabitants of North Africa beyond Egypt. Perhaps a native name, perhaps an Arabic word from Barbara, to babble confusedly. To babble confusedly? But this might be ultimate from Greek barbaria. The actual relations, if any, of the Arabic and Greek words cannot be settled. But in European lands, barbaria, Barbary, have from the first been treated as identical. Right. So, Saracens, well, we have one thing. If you didn't know what a Berber was, we can go see what we've done this already. We're not going to do this again. A Berber is an Afro-Asian, right? That's what a Berber is, right? We know for a fact that when we look on the haplogroup map, we find out that they're from an Afro-Asiatic race. And we understand when you're talking about North Africa, they're talking about the Afro-Asians that were in that part of that land, right? Okay. Now, I'm going to show you something else before we get to the present. Now, if we go look at... You know what I'm looking for. You know what I'm looking foe. We're looking for the four winds that drove, there it is.
Man.
The ill wind, that drove Columbus, right? Bing! Let's click on that.
Again, he's going into books on his own website in his own virtual library that is free for you. Now you tell me what problem you got with this brother that has presented a library, whether you like it or not, to dig on it.
Alright.
Let's go.
Let's scroll down. I don't want to do this. Let her get out of here. Come on, give me what I want. There we go. Alright. Oh my. Now they're playing with me now. They don't want me to give you guys this gift. Oh my. Oh my. Playing with my emotions now. There we go. Alright, so this is the ill winds that drove Columbus. Now we understand who a Saracen is now. At least one particular one we know is a Saracen. And we know, we'll get to that in a second. Columbus, Nina Pinta, and Santa Maria were driven across the Atlantic by the same ill winds that from 1095 to 1272 launched 9 European crusades to capture Muslim Jerusalem.
Just read it. This is separate than what's in the Biblioteca de Colombia and Sevilla that we dropped. This is another document telling you that the purpose of these invasions were capturing the holy city in America. Oh, but your DNA test, you just a bunch of Canaanites and Hamites. Really? Really?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It wouldn't be right if I didn't do this.
Come on.
It wouldn't be right if I didn't do this.
On the good foot. Get on the
It's a special
one.
day. I gotta do this for y'all.
One time.
I got to do this for y'all because it's a special day. I got to do this for y'all because it's a special day. I got to do this. I got to do it.
Hey, man. Dig on it, man.
The nails in the coffin.
Dig on it.
Oh, it's gonna get good. Just roll with me.
Y'all got to get with it.
1580s from Middle French caravan, from Old French caravan, medieval Latin, picked up during the Crusades from Persian Karwan group of desert travelers, which Klein connects to Sanskrit, Karaba, camel, using English for vehicle, especially for a covered cart, hence in modern use. Alright. So the Crusades is basically a caravan. Come on. Huh? It's something like Oregon Trail, ain't it? Y'all remember that back in, elementary school?
Yeah.
If you're over 30, you remember that.
Come on.
Back when computers first came out and it was a black screen with green letters and shit on it. Y'all remember that shit. So check it out. The Crusades, right? Is basically a group of desert travelers, huh? The Crusades, it's a group of travelers, right? It's a group of travelers. Alright. Bedouin, we don't need the rest. The Crusades is travelers, alright? So let's go back here. European travelers to capture Muslim Jerusalem. Now, why would they say Muslim Jerusalem?
Talk about it.
Alright, come on. Oh my. You gonna stop me in this? You don't want me to do this? Because I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You better not get in my way. I'm gonna do it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna do it. Give me that. Let's go back. Come on. 1610 from Arabic, Muslim, one who submits to the faith, from root of Aslama. He resigned, related to Islam. It's related to Musulman, a Muslim, from Turkish Musalam, from Persian Musalam, from Arabic Muslim, same thing, right? One who submits to the faith, right? So when you become a Muslim, you submit it to a faith. A faith. What is faith? Let's get that. To the faith, to be exact. Now, faith, mid-13th century, faithless to a trust or promise. You have faith in a promise. Boom.
Body bag.
Faith in a promise. Loyalty to a person, honesty, truthfulness, from Anglo-French and Old French. Faith, belief, trust, confidence, pledge. Trust, faith, confidence, reliance, credence, belief, from root to fidere, to trust, faith, coincidence, honesty. Right. So when Muslim comes around, when you hear the word Muslim, it's people who trust in a promise. Now, when you go back and look at the conception, I did this, the love triangle. The love triangle, I discussed this. No, I didn't discuss. I showed you a few clips to show you where these three religions come from. It comes from the Catholics, who are going to take us all the way back to a whole group of people that came out and began to conquer everybody, right? So when you become a Muslim, you become a person who has faith, right? Who's trusting in a promise. Now, where did this promise come from? The promise is the belief, whatever belief they have, whatever promise is made, that they do these things, right? Now, so Muslim does not mean one particular group, right? Muslim is a word that describes somebody who has faith and belief in a promise, all right? So, where are we at? We're here. Oh, come on. You better... Yo, it does not want me to show y'all this, right? I can't give you the big surprise till I get through all this little tidbit. Come on. You know I got like 30, 40 tabs up right now, you know. It's just so much to show y'all. It's unbelievable. But it must be about that time. All right.
And he means it. He got 30, 40 tabs up. Once you start getting this drop, it's impossible not to have at least 20 tabs up at all time. You got so much coming in. I had a great, 1-2 with a great brother. And again, I appreciate everybody that's getting at me, man, at music at 432thedrop.com. I try to get back as much as I can, but that's a way to get at me, you know what I'm saying, separate from this particular system here. But he's like, man, I'm encouraged to start broadcasting, like, I always knew I should, and I got all this drop. So, if you got a bunch of drop and you're dropping it all the time, just drop it yourself. That helps everybody, right? Because ain't nothing easier than being able to, wake up and check, my whatever peoples, and I see Hallway CH, or I see Smiles, or Higher Mark, Smooth, Shalak, dropping that drop. They didn't necessarily have to hit me with a link. They just went and exposed it themselves. And that's how we really are helping each other. By piling a bunch of links on each other, it's only going to get us so far. Everybody got a voice. Everybody got a YouTube. If you on here, you can put your camera up and do it, man. Everybody got to choose up. You can't rely on one person to drop a bunch of drop. You got to take the drop and you got to keep it rocking. That's your responsibility. You are a nation of priests. Choose up.
So 1095 to 1272 launched 9 European crusades, which is basically them coming together and traveling, right, as a group, to capture faith, believers in faith, people with faith in a promise, people with faith in a promise, people with faith in a promise, right? Muslim, faith in a promise. They're trusting in a promise in Jerusalem, right? Now they crossed the Atlantic. Ain't no way you crossing the Atlantic and going to this bullshit Jerusalem in the same land. That don't make sense. If you cross the Atlantic, 1095 to 1272, in a European crusade, the Christian crusade, you see that cross in that picture. The Christian crusade, the Christian group that came to capture the people that trust in their promise, right? There's a covenant made. The people of the covenant in Jerusalem, and we know that Jerusalem that they talking about is over here because they crossed the Atlantic to get to it. Defeated and humiliated, the invaders suffered staggering human losses, as we find in America being the latest and best description of the New World. When the Spaniards came over and getting their ass whooped, left royal treasuries depleted, and convinced Christian leaders to only pay lip service to...
We just dropped that the Mayas said that they kicked the Spaniards out in 1638. So yes, they came over here and got smolly-whopped. They just got, walked on right quick. And that's just how it went down. Alright? So let's keep it going. You are warriors.
To another tribe, except for Christopher Columbus, born Christopher Colon, this ambitious Genoese craved adventure was given to religious mysticism to the point he accepted God's personal command to free the Holy Land? Free the Holy Land? Now, the Holy Land is over in Iraq and Iran, right? Isn't that what that stuff is? Or did they cross the Atlantic to get to the people of the covenant in Jerusalem? They say Muslim. Don't be fooled. We just looked at what Muslim means. We know what Muslim means. The actual people in the covenant in Jerusalem, right? So let's get beyond that. We now understand what the fuck they're talking about. If you guys understand that, right? So check this out. To conquer Saracens, you Afro-Asians and pagans. Well, the people that aren't Afro-Asians, that's over there too, because fuck it, they're over there. We're going to conquer all of them. Oh, well, if you're the red man and you saying, we made treaties and they have not honored them, well, you're here to conquer the Afro-Asian and the fucking pagans, right? You're not one of us, but you're something else. You're pagan, right? And consign them to perpetual servitude. Oh, shit. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Let's dig this shit up. Let's just dig it.
Just, man, come on, man. Let us find the truth is the coldest cat in the gang. Because he's going to take you from the root to the tooth. His perspective is amazing. His quality is precise. Because he's always going to take you to the root of the etymology. He ain't going to play with the words and the energy. You're going to get to what perpetual really means. Well, I mean, it's clear, right? Perpetual. So I ask you, perpetual slave, since we have documentation proving that the Negro is in perpetual slavery, signed by the Pope in 1452, this is your recent history. When the fuck are you going to wake up and get the fuck out? Are you going to leave it up to your children to figure out that they're in perpetual servitude? At what point did migration become some type of crazy concept when you research your own migration patterns? Now we say migrate. We say, leave work? Slave, get the fuck up and get out. Go home. Assemble yourselves. Remember yourselves. Heal in the wilderness. Heal. Out of the man-made environments, go heal yourselves. If you're old, it's time to live. If you're young, let go. We read it in Isaiah 43. We understand what the barren lands are going to become right before our eyes. Now you have to make a choice, right? Red pill, blue pill. You want to go back to sleep? How you want to play this? How do you want to play this information? How do you want to play this drop? You want to go back to Betty bye-bye? You want to go back to sleep in the illusion of seclusion? You want to be a Christian? You want to be a Muslim? You don't want to pretend that the Vatican invented all? That they don't have the recordation of it all? How do you want to play this? Hold up, my battery. There we go. The brother's doing phenomenal. He is lighting the fire to the liar of this 4th of July. You want independence, motherfuckers? You want independence? Stay tuned. Hold up. Hold up, man. Let go.
Let's dig this shit up.
Let go.
Walk with me. Walk with me.
No.
Perpetual. Mid-14th century from Old French, perpetual without end. No. No way. Without an end. What the fuck are they saying? What are they saying? Servitude without an end. Now, why is this important? Why in the frick did he just open up the dumb Diversas? Because I got a gift. I have a gift.
Drop it.
You people of the promise, some might say you're a Muslim. People of the promise, of the covenant, some might say you're a Muslim. Are you a Muslim? You don't even know that name. You wouldn't even recognize it. It's not your title, but you know you're a people of a promise, right? You know you're the people of a promise. No. They're going to keep us in a never-ending servitude to them? They're not. This is where the present comes in. Now, I did a video, and I told you that we call, as long as we allow ourselves to be labeled and continue to call ourselves Black, African American, or Negro, we're going to be, in this never-ending servitude. Now, why? Here comes the gift. We're going to start here. We're going to start right here. I want everybody, after they watch this video, to ask a few questions to yourself and then start searching. Okay? Independence. Look at this, man. Look at this awesome man. Yeah. What's this? The Great Whore.
It's my country.
Right?
It's
my.
It's my founding fathers.
America has been at war 93% of the time. 222 out of 239 years since 1776. The U.S. has only been at peace for 21 years total since its conception or birth. It birthed itself. So we got maritime law and everything else ruling this country.
Founding fathers. We want to take it back to the founding fathers. Alex Jones, founding fathers. William Mount, founding fathers. All they can do is take it back to the founding fathers. With the documentation all over to show that the founding fathers were invading. Can nobody argue that you've been invaded on? Can nobody argue that you are a prisoner of war? And what comes with being a prisoner of war?
Aren't you right? Come on, man. In 2011, Daniels wrote, "Below, I have reproduced a year-by-year timeline of America's wars, which reveals something quite interesting. Since the United States was founded in 1776, she has been at war during 214 out of her 235 calendar years of existence. In other words, there were only 21 calendar years in which the United States did not wage any wars. I wonder why. To put this in perspective, pick any year since 1776, and there is about a 91% chance that America was involved in some war during that calendar year."
Body bag.
Why is that important? That's where the president comes in. Come on, walk with me. No U.S. president truly qualifies as a peacetime president. Let me read that one more time. No United States president truly qualifies as a peacetime president. No United States president truly qualifies as a peacetime president. What does that mean? Instead, all U.S. presidents can technically be considered war presidents. What? War? What does that mean? The U.S. has never gone a decade without war.
Against who?
The only time the U.S. went 5 years without war was 1935 through 1940, was during the isolationist period of the Great Depression. Here's a graphic depiction of United States wars. Calendar years the U.S. has been at war since 1776. And here's the year-by-year timeline of America's major wars. Year-by-year timeline of America's major wars, 1776 to 2011. And we're still in war today.
Pay attention.
1776, American Revolutionary War. Chickamauga Wars. Second Cherokee War. Pennamite Yankee War. Y'all figuring this out yet? Don't worry about it. We're going to get there. American Revolutionary War, Chickamauga War, Second Cherokee War, Pennamite Yankee War, 78 American Revolutionary War, 79 American Revolutionary War, 80 American Revolutionary War, 81 American Revolutionary War, 82 American Revolutionary War. Listen, they've been at war with your ass the whole time.
Activate. Activate. This is a real serious situation we have here. When you find out that the corporation or the London company or the Plymouth company, one, you think you're a citizen of a corporation that's owned by a corporation. So the London company owns the corporation. So you're a citizen of a corporation owned by a corporation. Ha, 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 ha. Guys, you got to give these guys a fucking applause, man. I mean, they really did it. Oh, the sorcery. Oh, Oh, I can't stomach the genius. The evil genius. The twistedness. But now we can just look at it for what it is, and no one can deny it. I mean, they've been at war with you since the beginning, so that means they must be at war with you in the end. Can I back it up one time for your mind, man? Let's get it. Let us find the true king. Real talk, man. Now you see already, we're 16 minutes in. This belongs in the Drop Hall of Fame. And look how he does his dismount. He's going to Nadia Comaneci this thing. Oh, man, I can't be prouder of this brother. On real spill, real time. Right up on your face bone. Take it like that. And don't look back.
1776. Uh-oh. And here's the year-by-year timeline of America's major wars. Year-by-year timeline of America's major wars, 1776 to 2011. And we're still in war today. 1776, American Revolutionary War, Chickamauga Wars, Chickamauga Wars, Second Cherokee War, Pennamite Yankee War. They don't figure this out yet. Don't worry about it. We're going to get there. American Revolutionary War.
Then we just read the annals of the Cochiquels, the Chickamauga. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, Anasazis. Every time you see this is all Negro, 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 except you're not Negro, right? They're giving you titles, man. I mean, you never heard this stuff before. This might be closer to what you actually might be. You're getting warmer. Get off the Negro. Check that box, American Indian. Check other, check something, but don't check black, don't check African American. You just giving it all up. Then you're saying you're not the people that they were fighting, when in reality you are. Let go.
War, Chickamauga War, Second Cherokee War, Pennamite Yankee War, 78 American Revolutionary War, 79 American Revolutionary War, 80 American Revolutionary War,
Negro.
81 American Revolutionary War,
Negro.
82 American Revolutionary War.
Negro.
Listen, they've been at war with your ass the whole time. I want you to understand this. Look at what the fuck I'm showing you, people. Please focus. Focus. Since 1776, they have been at war with you, right? The war never ended. It never ended. They got clever. And started changing names. If I change the name and I take their history from them, they won't realize that I'm at war with them. They won't never figure this shit out.
Damn.
Right?
Damn.
They never stop being at war with you.
Damn.
Now let's get to the goodies.
Come on.
Now this is the Geneva Convention relative to the treatment of prisoners of war.
Right.
75. UNTS 135 is...
Motherfucker, if y'all don't fucking look this shit up, if you don't do that, man, for your sake, for your children's sake, if you just sit back and just listen to this shit like you're watching some video, if you don't do some action, man, and look this up, shame on you. Shame, I say.
...enforced October 21st, 1950. Let's get an understanding of what's going on here.
Go.
Part 1, General Provisions. Article 1. The high contracting parties undertake to respect and to ensure respect for the present convention in all circumstances. Article 2. In addition to the provisions which shall be implemented in peacetime, let's go back.
Come on. Gotta get this right for you.
Now, let's see. The last time there was peacetime, it was 1935 to 1940, okay?
All right.
Now, we are not in any peacetime. We are still at war.
True.
Okay?
True.
This country's still at war.
Okay.
All right, so in addition to the provisions which shall be implemented in peacetime, the present convention shall, and so you know what convention is.
Oh, he's going to the
early
etymology.
15th century, a formal agreement.
Let's go.
It's a formal agreement.
Come on.
In addition to the provisions which shall be implemented in peacetime, we are not in peacetime. The present agreement shall apply to all all cases of declared war or of any other armed conflict which may arise between two or more of the high contracting parties. Right. Now, the contracting parties is the people involved in the contract, and people involved in the contract, the parties involved in the contract. Even if the state of war is not recognized by one of them. Now, guess what? You're still at war, right? But you don't recognize it. Now, let's go back.
Oh, shit. Golly.
Since 1776, you've been at war with them. They came over, dumb Diversas. All right? I'm not going to do the dumb Diversas again. You should already know it. Barbary. What's Barbary? We know they're talking about a Saracen. What's a Saracen? An Afro-Asian.
Yeah.
Okay? Look at this. All right? U.S. occupied Spanish-held West Florida. Well, they're still fighting in 1810 with the people in Florida, right? Which was held by the Spanish.
Damn.
Tecumseh's War, War of 1812, Seminole Wars.
Oh,
who were they fighting? Who were they fighting? They came here to conquer who? Saracens. And pagans. So, if you're a pagan, which means you're not a Saracen, which means you're not Afro-Asian, you're just some other type of person in this land at the time, they've been at war with the Afro-Asian and you, the other, okay? Since they got here, okay? Since they got here, they've been at war with you. But they're recognizing all the wars, right? Starting in 1776. But the war started with the dumb Diversas. I'm not going to backtrack. You saw that already. Now let's go back. So now at this point, because you have been separated from your history, who you are, and you don't know what any of this means, now you need to understand, if you're an African American, you're not a Saracen. If you're a black person, you're not a Saracen. If you're a Negro, you're not a Saracen. Now let's go back to the dumb Diversas, okay? Starting at the top. Let me blow this up for you guys. Dumb Diversas is a papal bull issued on the 18th of June in 1452 by Pope Nicholas. It authorized Alfonso of Portugal to conquer Saracens and pagans and consign them to perpetual servitude.
Forever.
We know Saracens is Afro-Asian, and we know pagans is anybody else caught in the land with the Saracens, right? Now, let's back up to the Columbus page again. Columbus, Nina Pinta, and Santa Maria were driven across the Atlantic by the same ill winds that from 1095 to 1272 launched 9 European crusades to capture the people of the covenant in Jerusalem. Defeated and humiliated the invaders, suffered staggering human losses, left royal treasuries depleted, and convinced Christian leaders to only pay lip service.
Wow.
Right? To go back and do this shit again.
Wow.
Listen, the covenant people in Jerusalem,
wow,
they are called Saracens, and then the others, which are pagans, put them in perpetual servitude. Let's go back. Alright, so now that you're an African American, you're a black, and you're a Negro, you have no connection to your heritage.
Come on, bro.
Now, transgender comes into play. Transgender comes into play at this point, right? Move forward into your heritage, your stock, your race, your group. Go into it through transgenderism, okay? Now, you're not African, you're not black, and you're not a Negro. So, even if the state of war is not recognized by one of the parties, now you're one of the parties that doesn't recognize you're still in a fucking war.
Right.
Well, now you do. Now you know. The convention shall also apply to all cases of partial or total occupation of the territory. Wait a minute. The agreement shall also apply to all cases of partial or total occupation of the territory. So where they're partially there ruling your ass, or where they're fully in abundance running your ass, it applies, of the territory of a high contracting party. Well, we know over here in North America at the top, they talking about us. Even if the said occupation meets with no armed resistance. Well, listen.
Wow.
The occupation, all right, do I got that pulled up?
Oh.
Let's see.
Etymology.
Occupation, early 14th century, fact of holding or possessing. All right?
Etymology.
Occupy, to take possession of. Resistance, make a stand against or oppose. To oppose your oppressors or occupiers. Now guess what? Even if the occupier is met with no armed resistance, well, you're not armed or attacking your oppressor in the occupation of your land. Although one of the powers in conflict may not be a party to the present convention or agreement, may not be a party to the present agreement, one of the powers, so somebody else in power in this conflict may not be a party to the present agreement, right? So somebody else can be here and not be a party to that agreement, but there be a power over top of you. The powers who are parties thereto shall remain bound by it in their mutual relations. They shall furthermore be bound by the convention in relation to the said power, if the latter accepts and applies the provisions thereof. So if you join in with the people that occupy this land, you become connected to that agreement to do the same thing they're doing to the people that they're occupying and oppressing. Article 3. In the case of armed conflict, not of an international character occurring in the territory of one of the high contracting parties, each party to the conflict shall be bound to apply as a minimum the following provisions, right? So now that we're occupied and we're the ones in resistance that are not even resistant,
Pay attention.
they are to 1. Persons taking no active part in the hostilities, including members of armed forces who have laid down their arms and those placed or the combat by sickness, wounds, detention, or any other cause shall in all circumstances be treated humanely. Wait a minute. They did what? When Abraham Lincoln tried to set you free, right? What did they do? They said, we'll do the Emancipation Proclamation. Huh? Now understand, you are the resistance that's no longer armed because they put you down and took your history away from you. So now you're the resistance that's no longer resisting. So what are they going to do? Because they're still at fucking war. It's never ended. They're still at war. If they ever come out of war, we're not going to talk about that yet. Let's just talk about this. They're still at war. They're at war. So they're occupying this land at war. Okay? So now the Emancipation Proclamation comes out so that you can be treated humanely, right? Now, you're not black, you're not an African American, and you're not even a freaking Negro, okay? That's what they laid on you to trick your ass into believing that you're no longer the aboriginal who has been occupied. Come on now. So now the Emancipation Proclamation comes out and you're being treated humanely without any adverse distinction founded on a race, color, religion, or faith, sex, birth, or wealth, or any of the similar criteria. Now, this is where they fucked up. This is where they fucked up. Now, they treat you humane. They do treat you humanely. So technically, you know, they give you the right to work. They give you the right to live. They give you some rights. So the Emancipation Proclamation, being a secondary citizen, they've done that part, the very minimum, right? To this end, the following acts are and shall remain prohibited at any time and in any place whatsoever with respect to the above mentioned persons. Okay? That's you, the resistance, who is no longer armed and resisting. A. Violence to life in person, in particular, murder of all kinds, mutilation, cruel treatment, and torture. Now, this is where they fucked up. Now, these things have been done to you. You, who are no longer resisting with arms. This is what they've done. Now, you got to remember, this shit right here didn't come into effect until entered into force. 1950 is when they began to enforce this. All right, now I don't know when they actually did it. Okay, let me see if I can find that. Year Geneva Convention was made. Let's see if we can find that, because I want to find the date. Okay. History, Red Cross poster from the First World War, Progressive Geneva Conventions from 1864 to 1949. Alright, so it looks like 1864.
1864. So this this jewel of a book that I just picked up, The History of the United States, J.C. Ritpath, it's published 1874 or 1876. So do you see the time period of the real, like, Ayukin? You know what I'm saying? This is when it got real twisted. This Geneva Convention drops. These books are drop, but they're also trying to appease the Christians, appease the church. They can't tell these Christians that their power is coming from slaughtering Israelites. So they write books and they say, we don't know anything. Everything about you is completely obscure. But we know you guys can't be Israelites. That is absurd. That is inappropriate. It is wildly unthinkable to think that you're Israelites. But we can't tell you who you are. We can't tell you where you came from. We can't give you any dates. But it is absurd, wildly unthinkable, and inappropriate. It's inappropriate to even think about the notion that you could be sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's crazy, nigga. That's the hijack. It's 1800s, man. That's when you really lost your sauce. That's when it got real twisted. You've only been really twisted since about this time. Around great-grandma. Think about your great-grandma. She never told you came from Africa. She always told you about indigenous roots. Unless your great-grandma literally comes from Africa. Or that which they call Africa, right? You know what I'm saying. And you know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the Negro, who was almost made extinct. I'm talking to the descendants of the Maya, that which they call the Maya and the Aztec. I'm talking to the descendants of these people, the first peoples. That's that which they called the Anasazi. This one's for you. Cause ain't nobody doing it for you. I ain't trying to be cool to everybody. I'm just talking to my people. Is that all right? I don't want to be popular. I don't want to be mainstream. I just want to get my people back home, because when we at peace, it's beautiful, man. That's the best gift I can give to my children. Is getting and walking the hell out of this illusion of seclusion, because we're not separate. But we damn sure are prisoners of war.
Alright, the Geneva Conventions compromise 4 treaties and 3 additional protocols. Oh my, I'm so freaking busy. Okay, so the Geneva Conventions, hold on. Alright, so the Geneva Conventions comprise 4 treaties and 3 additional protocols that establish the standards of international law for the humanitarian treatment in war. The singular term Geneva Convention usually denotes the agreements of 1949 negotiated in the aftermath of the Second World War, which updated the terms of the first 3 treaties of 1864, 1906, and
1864, 1940s. This is done in revised in 1940s. What else is going on in 1940s, guys? While they're redoing the treaties of the Israelites here, that Columbus said he's coming to seize the holy city here, who do you think is here fighting for the holy city, Negro? Who are you? Why are they afraid of tribes? Why are they afraid of you connecting to Haya again? So 1947, what else is going on? You got Hitler, you got that Holocaust situation, the Ashkenazis and the Nazis, the Ashkenazis and the Nazis, the Ashkenaz Nazis, Ashkenazis and the Nazis. And then what did he do? He says, look, I can slaughter y'all, or y'all can go set up this thing with the Rothschilds called the State of Israel, somewhere in the Middle East, and y'all gonna act like y'all going home back to y'all land. It's gonna be a great media thing, and we're gonna say, ooh, Jews got their land back, even though you know it's written in your books that your Mashiach is bringing you home, and you know you're not actually blood related, you know you converted at some time, in this Bulan situation, these converts, so you do it more as a religion, but as a people, what are you representing in the so-called homeland? You are there physically, but you're saying it's just a spiritual concept? So who are you there physically in proxy of? And will you be judged? What's going on in the 40s with the Geneva Convention? Holocaust, 1947, the State of Israel, Geneva Convention against the real Israelites. See, they have formed a confederacy against you. They've been at war against you the whole time. They had to drop the whole time. Now, who got the drop?
1929 and added a fourth. The Geneva Convention extensively defined the basic rights of wartime prisoners, civilians, and military personnel. Now understand this. Since the Bull Papacy, right, you have been a wartime prisoner. Since they conquered this land, began to occupy it. Since the Pilgrims dropped ships, since these mugs start running you off your land and moving your ass all across the lands, you have been a wartime prisoner. Now here it says 1864 is when they wrote this shit, okay? Now you gotta remember, there was conflicts of interest with these people during the time because they came over here as Christian crusaders. You know, their women was already, going against what they were saying, and you had other guys out there, abolitionists, saying this shit ain't right, this shit ain't right. We're uncovering that shit right now. But look at the date. In 1864, they said, well, you know what, this shit really ain't right. Let's do something else. Now, if anybody wants to find out, look at these dates and go back and find out exactly what happened at these dates, do your work and do the video and put the shit out there. But let's just get on through this. So, wartime prisoner is what your ass is. Okay? You're not black, you're not African American, you're not Negro, you're a wartime prisoner as an aboriginal to this country. Alright? The war is not over, they're still at war. Now let's get back.
Let go.
Alright, so to this end, the following acts are and shall remain prohibited at any time and in any place. What they're not allowed to do as of 1950 to be enforced as of 1864. Well, they added these things, so 1864 was the...
This is what they can't do to you. See, when you claim that you're black, you lose your rights, even in the Matrix. You are waking up out of the Matrix. Red pill, blue pill. You want to go back to sleep? You want to go to Africa? Assyria? Do you want to know what land you're on? Do you want to know if you're in the old world or the new? Do you want to know who to trust? This is what they can't do to wartime prisoners. You've been a wartime prisoner of the Pope since 1452 in perpetual slavery, meaning forever. Because what would an invader do when he invades the richest land? He would put you in slavery forever. Why? Because at any time slavery ends, you're going to rise up against him. So he has to keep his foot on your neck forever, because you can't wake up, because you will rise against him. Now do you see why they won't let the black man rise? Because you are invaded. Black man, if you have been invaded, how would your invader ever let you rise, motherfucker? The fuck is wrong with you? If you took somebody else's shit, would you let their family rise so they can whoop your ass? Do you got some street smarts? Will you apply that shit to the Pope? He came over here. He signed the 1452 Diversas. King James himself came over here to colonize your ass. That's in the book, History of the United States by J.C. Ridpat. The Aboriginal Times. This is what they can do to wartime prisoners. You are a wartime prisoner, so what is your right as a wartime prisoner? Under their documentation.
Exception of the Geneva Convention. So, some of the things they're not supposed to do as of 1950.
Come on.
Let's find out.
Let's go.
They're not supposed to commit violence to life and person, in particular murder of all kinds, mutilation, cruel treatment, and torture. They broke that. Taking of hostages. Well, they can't take us hostage, but what are we finding out? They take our babies, right? Huh? Outrageous upon personal dignity, in particular humiliating and degrading treatment. They do that on TV. They humiliate your asses on public TV all the time. The passing of sentences and the carrying out of executions without previous judgment pronounced by a regularly constituted court, affording all the judicial guarantees which are recognized as indispensable by civilized peoples. They give your ass a court-appointed lawyer that don't give a fuck about the daggone case involving your ass one way or another. So they done the bare minimum on that. The wounded and sick shall be collected and cared for. They gave your ass, what is it, Medicaid, Medicare? Now, is what they gave your ass so that when you're sick, you can go to the hospital for free. You're wartime prisoners.
Bang.
Since the bull papacy, dumb Diversas, since they came here and began to occupy, that's why they're still at war.
Bang.
So they give you what? Medicaid, food
Bang.
stamps, shelter,
Bang.
the basic things necessary to live. That's why they will not let you rise up in this country, because they are occupying this country and they cannot allow you to take your country back. An impartial humanitarian body such as the International Committee of the Red Cross may offer its services to the parties to the conflict. FEMA, right? Think about this shit. When the shit went down in, Hurricane Katrina, Red Cross came out to help, right? They have to do that. The parties to the conflict should further endeavor to bring into force by means of special agreements all or part of the other provisions of the present agreement. The application of the preceding provisions shall not affect the legal status of the parties to the conflict, right? Legal status. What are they calling you? They're calling you a legal secondary citizen. A legal secondary citizen. You're a black and African American or a Negro. You're not the Aboriginal. If you keep claiming those things and not Aboriginal or indigenous to this land, they have the right to do this. You see, well, actually, they have the right to do these things because you're no longer represented as the Aboriginal that they conquered. So now that you have a new name, they really don't have to give you Medicaid. They don't really have to give you basic housing. They can fucking humiliate you. They can shoot you down in the street. They can mutilate you. They can do cruel treatment because what? You're no longer represented as the people that they conquered or are at war with. Okay? This is the big key here. Once you have claimed something that you're not, then they can say, well, they're not a wartime prisoner anymore. These people are from Africa, okay?
Bang.
They're second-class citizens. They're from Africa. These laws don't abide by them. Again, in 1864, this shit was created, okay? In 1950, they began to enforce it. Now, if you call yourself an African-American and no longer the indigenous to this land or the Aboriginal, they have the right to ignore this shit because you're no longer classified under this. Your title has been changed. So you're no longer the prisoner of war. You're just a fucking monkey that fell out of a fucking tree. We don't give a fuck about them. Let them kill themselves. You understand what they did? Put them in fucking ghettos. We don't give a fuck. They're nobody. Listen. Article 4. A prisoner of war in the sense of the present agreement are persons belonging to one of the following categories who have fallen into the power of the enemy. Well, that's what you were under your old title. You had fallen into the power of the enemy who occupies you. 1. Members of the armed forces of a party to the conflict, as well as members of militias or volunteer corps forming part of such armed forces. Well, when you were chiefs or tribes, and when you were tribes and you were fighting against them little war bands, this would have classified you as a Saracen. You know, I know they say what we hear about these Moors all the time, right? Well, what do they say? Berbers are Moors, right? We know that a Berber is in Afro-Asian, and they call that Berber a Saracen, right? And then over here, they call you Saracens over here and pagans. So once they separate you from that, right? Listen, the ones that are called Native Americans or Indians, right? they're still subject to this. The pagans, right? That's what they are. The pagans are still subject to this agreement. You're not. They were giving these Native Americans $9,000 a month, okay? Now you, the Afro-Asian, quote-unquote, Saracen, that shit was taken from you. They've separated you from who you are. So they no longer have to follow any of these treaties that take care of your ass, right? You're no longer a prisoner of war. You're just you're nothing. I showed you this in the last video that you're nothing. I'm nothing. We're nothing as long as we're under these titles. The Native American, okay, he gets, the ones under the agreement, they would get $9,000 a month. I don't want to hear this shit, oh, you're on a reservation and we don't get shit. I don't want to hear that shit. We can go actually talk to these people. Go find a real Native American. This ain't no hard shit. Go find these real ones that they're not real. They're not, they're pagans, but find out how they really get money, government money. Go look the shit up. Do your due diligence. Start looking at videos about Native Americans receiving government funds. You'll find out these fuckers was getting $9,000 a month. All right? Members of the armed forces of a party to the conflict, as well as members of militias or volunteer corps forming part of such armed forces. A war band. We're not war bands no more. We're not nothing. 2. Members of other militias and members of other voluntary corps, including those of organized resistance movements belonging to a party to the conflict and operating in or outside their own territory. Now, we're in our territory, so if we're operating in our territory under our tribal names, now what did Brother Lex showed y'all in the video? The guy said, the general said, hey, look, to the new recruits or whatever, you're going to be facing these different things, terrorists, aliens, and I think he's talking about like aliens from other countries, and then tribes.
Right.
Now, why did he say tribes? Because once you people go back to claiming your heritage, you're going to go back to being what? Tribes, war bands, tribal war bands. And then what do you become? You become a problem to your occupier. Then your occupier now knows that he has to again war with you. And then what happens? The Geneva Convention falls in. Okay? That's when the Geneva Convention comes back into existence, because right now you call yourselves Black, African American, or Negro. Now let's continue. I told you I had a present for you.
Activate.
Provided that such militias or volunteer corps, including such organized resistance movements, fulfill the following conditions: that of being commanded by a person responsible for his subordinates, that of having a fixed distinctive sign recognizable at a distance, that of carrying arms openly, to carry your arms openly, that of do you understand when they see a black man with a gun in his hands openly? They know who you are. They know you don't claim that, you claim something else, but they start thinking it back to when you was war bands, when you was tribes that was fighting them, right? They remember that shit, all right? That of conducting their operations in accordance with the laws and customs of war. Members of regular armed forces who profess allegiance to a government or an authority not recognized by the detaining power. Now, if you claim your allegiance in this country as a tribe to another government in this land they're occupying, then you become a threat. All those things would make you a threat. Persons who occupy the armed forces without actually being members thereof, such as civilian members of military aircraft crews, war correspondents, supply contractors, members of labor units, or of service responsibility for the welfare of the armed forces, provided that they have received authorization from the armed forces which they occupy, who should provide them for that purpose with an identity card similar to the annex model. So this is okay, this is just getting long-winded. All right, so you got the gist of it in the beginning. The beginning of this was very important. Now, to the next beautiful part, now that I've shown you all this. Now, warring is something crazy. Don't even get involved in that. Don't even get involved in that. But once you go to recognizing yourself as the people that are in wartime, once you recognize who you are, whether it be through census, whether it be through any forms you fill out, you start putting yourself back in as other, the aboriginal or the indigenous to this land. You have now separated from what they made you nothing and become what you were to begin with. Now, once you become what you were to begin with, you can now become a refugee and leave the hands of your captives into another country. Say, for instance, South America, Mexico, Now, Mexico's made a few agreements with the U.S., so did Canada, maybe South America. Now you can seek refugee status once you claim who you are and that you are still under the dumb diverses at war with an occupier and you are being held as a prisoner. There's the gift.
Any questions? But brother, what's the solution for the black man and the black woman? My brother, what's the solution for the black family? Black power. Man, I love all my peoples. But do you get it? Do you get what you are and what you're not? Do you get the gift that was, just a masterpiece of energy? Hey. All day. All up on you. Frequency, man. You are in a frequency war. They've been at war ever since that 1776. Ever since that declaration. Ever since that, I gotta do my Independence Day celebration. Pop off some fireworks that represents the guns that I had to pop into your ancestors' ass. Every firework you see, every crackle, sounds like the gun that was cracking or the whip that was cracking in 1776 over here. You celebrating your slaughter. It's not funny no more. You can't play dumb no more. You gotta choose up. I need to get that back because my brother laid it out. My brother, you laid it out, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Remember that episode of Dave Chappelle? And he said, Charlie Murphy was playing basketball with Prince and how he had to be like hella cold and smooth. And then he made him pancakes. And his people just laid out the pancakes after they just demolished them in basketball in high heels and stuff, however it went down. You laid it out like the pancakes, man. Like them pancakes must have been laid out in front of Charlie Murphy, man. I'm crazy, man. But you know what I'm saying. You just moited it, That was a moiting exercise. He moited it. Let's go. All right, hold up.
Start putting yourself back in as other, the aboriginal or the indigenous to this land. You have now separated from what they call this.
All right, let's get it back. Now, this is beautiful, man.
Warring is something
Take notes and write this down.
Don't even get involved in that.
Let's go.
But once you go to recognizing yourself as the people that are in wartime, once you recognize who you are, whether it be through census, whether it be through any forms you fill out, you start putting yourself back in as other, the aboriginal or the indigenous to this land. You have now separated from what they made you nothing and become what you were to begin with. Now, once you become what you were to begin with, you can now become a refugee and leave the hands of your captives into another country. Say, for instance, South America, Mexico, Now, Mexico's made a few agreements with the U.S., so did Canada, maybe South America. Now you can seek refugee status once you claim who you are.
Wow.
And that you are still under the dumb diverses at war with an occupier and you are being held as a prisoner.
Do you understand? You are literally being held as a prisoner in perpetual servitude. And the documentation is literally the Dumb Diversas 1452 Papal Bull issued by Nicholas V. It's the same Papal Bull that King James used to colonize you too. That's why we got the records of the voyage in 1603 of King James coming here on you, copper-colored people. And yes, I know King James is a brother. So you got the brother showing up to the shores in 1603, taking documents that Columbus recorded from Granada describing Jerusalem here in his records in the Biblioteca de Colombia in Sevilla. Say, man, I got all these records of Jerusalem here in Granada. He was getting the drop on Jerusalem here. That was his goal. And who else gets that documentation? King James. And what does he do in 1603? He takes it, he goes back, and he gives you the remix. 1611, King James. After he came here in 1603 and took your documentation, and then went back in 1611 and gave you the remix. Dig on it.
Here's the gift. Hey, happy 4th of July. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? Everybody trying to figure out what to do. Look, man, I had an uncle bring this up to me in a conversation, and he had no idea, I don't think, how much gold came out of his mouth. I've been trying to figure this out, and blessed be, out of his mouth comes the answer. Out of his mouth comes this beautiful answer. Huh? Most High said, I will open the mouths of other people, and they will speak, and you will hear them. Why? Because you hear inwardly. You ain't looking for an outside picture. Inwardly, these things are putting themselves together because you come from the Most High.
Hey, yeah.
Now listen to what I just told y'all.
Hey, yeah.
Through the dumb Diversas, you are a prisoner of war. After they changed your status to Black, African American, or Negro, you no longer became a prisoner of war. You began to become assimilated into the system of your occupier. Now you believe that you are the occupier of your own land. You have now amalgamated with these people. And you believe that you are these people.
Wow.
And now you will fight your own people to be these people.
Wow. Whoa. Is this Matrix or what? Come on. Is this Matrix or what? Come on. These people are tied into the system so bad that they will fight against you to protect the system. So he said, you got us believing we are the colonizer. Whoa. Y'all really think y'all are the colonizer? You think you own this shit? When you realize you don't. When you realize they don't let you own anything. Anytime you did, they just burned it down. What would the invader do? What would you do if you were the invader? You would never let those that you were colonizing ever rise up. You would put them in perpetual servitude. Our people walk around like they are owning shit. Houses and cars, shitting on each other, stunting on each other. They get a little bit, they think they owning something, and they just leave their brother to betray their peoples. Kill each other. All over what? The illusion of seclusion. You thought you were separate for a minute, didn't you? 432 The Drop is made by you, for you, by you. It is what it is. No hijacks allowed. Oh, that's the other one. Rah, rah, if you're watching that. You know what I'm saying? We got the other Drop Nation shirt that says, if you can't tell us who we are, how can they tell us who we're not? That's what it is. Somebody just said that to me. It's hard to remember these days. It says, if you can't tell us who we are, how can you tell us who we're not? And the hashtag Drop Nation. That's going to be the first shirt dropping from Drop Nation. If you can't tell us who we are, how can they tell us who we're not? Hashtag Drop Nation. The other one is no hijacks allowed. And then it's going to say direct energy transfer flow. You understand? We're just going to keep hitting you with just reminders, man, and putting them on shirts and dropping them. And you can support that, and it's all good. You already know. So, we're doing it. We're here. We are materializing. We are materializing exactly what our
Now, that's something you don't want to do now, is it?
fathers have told us
Now,
we will be.
Because you're in this country and you take back your original status, You become a prisoner of war in wartime. Now let me go back and show you again.
Come on.
I do it again.
Come on.
1776 up until 2016. War. Your old titles. Chickamauga Wars, Cherokee Wars, Pennamite Yankee Wars. Now listen, they talk about you.
Negro.
You Saracens and pagans. Huh?
Negro.
I don't care if you come from North Africa. I don't care. You're still a Saracen.
Negro.
You're still an Afro-Asian. Huh? You're still a barbarian to them. What they say when they came over here, they're barbarians. I don't care what you look like. I'm telling you right now, if you're the conquered and they took your title away from you and gave you a new title, they gave you a new title so that you can no longer be a prisoner of war. You can now join in with them, be at the bottom as a second-class citizen. Okay? So, you have this option. Once you claim your title back, you can now leave this country as a refugee. Okay? Now, if you want to look up getting refugee status and see what that's all about, please do it. But I'm going to tell you right now, in this country, if you're not a prisoner of war, you ain't getting shit. You're going to be treated like shit and you can be slaughtered. If you decide you want to go back to your old title and become a prisoner of war and take up arms and start fighting, you got to understand you're fighting a whole country and multiple countries that are occupying this place. That's a hell of a fight. Hell of a fight.
And this goes into what we're saying. It's very simple. Get out of the cities and go home to the wilderness. Go to Zion. Go to those four corners. Go to, you know what I'm saying, go to a wilderness near you, whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you know what I mean, it's like gather, but assemble, and you're stronger together. You know, however it goes, you got to go old school. We're going to have to drop the technology. We're going to have to drop the illusion and drop the matrix completely. I mean, that's the only solution. But folks act like, oh, you know, they can't frown us if we're not preaching no hate and slaughter of nobody. We are saying let's all assemble wherever we are, however we got to do it. Whenever it's time to do it, it will be inward in us to do it. It's not like anybody has a time set, oh, this time we're going to march. Nah, man, it's an inward thing, and we're all going off of an inward vibration, like the brothers beautifully breaking down. They've been at war against you the whole time. So when does your inward voice say enough's enough? When do you say perpetual what? They want me to be in servitude forever? Fuck that shit. For my children, fuck that shit. I'm not going to be a slave forever. My time is up, yo. That means you got to be a refugee. That means you get asylum. That means another country got to grant you asylum. Got to protect you from your invaders. You walk up and you be like, I've been invaded. I'm an indigenous aborigine. I am a prisoner of war in perpetual servitude. Look, here's my documentation. It's called the Papal Bull issued by Pope Nicholas V. Dumb Diversas in 1452. See? They came here, they conquered, they invaded my people, and they slaughtered 95% of us. And you are a prisoner of war. Reclaim your title. Checkmate.
Leave that shit alone. But if you want to go do that shit, I'm telling you right now, you're on your own with that shit. I just showed you something great. You now have the ability, as poor as you can possibly be, to seek asylum as a refugee from being a prisoner of war in your own land once you claim your old identity. Happy 4th of July. Thank you very much, folks.
Stay up, suit up, choose up. Now you understand what that means. I'm losing my voice yelling at y'all, man. I've been doing like drops all day. But look, stay up means what? Vibrate up. When I say stay up, I'm saying vibrate up. Alright? Keep your vibration high. Stay up. Vibrate above the firmament. Go back to your throne. Stay up. Go all the way up to the throne of hair. Suit up. What does that mean? It means armor up. Physically, mentally, everything you got to do as a tribe. It's who you are, ain't it? Ain't you the copper-colored races that's been invaded on? Ain't you a prisoner of war? Are they judging you on maritime sea law as if you ain't from the law of the land? Haven't they told you east is west and west is east? So stay up, suit up, and choose up, man. With your actions, with what you do, with what you do next, with your resources. You got your money in the bank. Might not be a good place. Who knows? Can you really trust that right now? I mean, I'm just saying use common. Just look around. You got to turn your money into something resourceful. You got to turn your money into real things, real tangible things. It's real time. When the illusion's up, the computer goes off grid. If you ain't got no money, that means you don't actually have no money. You only got money if you have a tangible resource. Shekels of silver and shit like that, man. Water and food is tangible because that's going to be, you can't eat gold and silver, so you're going to need, but we're nomadic people, so we need to go home to a land where we can hunt and have resources on our own. So we don't got to be hoarding food and water in our house when we can just take our backpack and go home. People do it all the time. They go camping in Zion National Park all the time. And that land is set up as a reserve, whatever you want to call it. They've preserved it. Hundreds of thousands of acres as a tourist attraction when they know it's there. This started out as research, and now we all are in real time. Red pill, blue pill, red pill, blue pill. Stay up, suit up, and choose up.